This is Fieldsports Channel News. The Countryside Alliance has warned the fight to prevent Gamebird licensing in Wales isn't over. Last week, National Resources Wales shelved plans to introduce licences for the release of game birds, including pheasants and red-legged partridges. The Countryside Alliance helped force a U-turn after collecting close to 13,000 signatures on a petition against the licensing scheme. They believe the Welsh Government remains anti-shooting and will press for legislation in as little as 2 years.
Let's not forget that this consultation and these plans were driven by Welsh Government, who have obviously stated that they do not support game shooting in Wales, and it was a form of restricting shooting here in Wales. So there's much more work to be done by our sector, of course, and we will not rest on our laurels until we've got rid of this ridiculous idea that's been brought forward by an anti-shooting agenda here in Wales.
A new study has found that fishing is good for you. Academics looking into the mental health benefits of being outside found regular fishermen were 17% less likely to suffer from stress and anxiety. The study was carried out by boffins from 3 universities and surveyed 1,700 men. It's believed there are 1.25 million anglers in the UK.
Around depression, around 17% less reported with clinical depression, 17% for both suicidal thoughts, self-harm, and schizophrenia was actually higher. It was almost 88% less likely in those that were doing the most angling versus those that were doing the least.
The French government has announced plans to cull more wolves. The wolves were reintroduced in the 1990s, and there's been a population explosion over the last 5 years. There are now estimated to be over 1,000 animals, mostly living in southeastern France. The government has now allowed hunters to cull 2% more wolves each year, and is allowing the use of night vision and hunting in pairs. They've also created an online portal to deploy wolf hunters and made training subsidies available. Data reveals wolves were responsible for 12,000 attacks on livestock in 2022. Hampshire Police says it has no plans to hold a criminal investigation into a complaint about Chris Packham. The TV presenter was accused of inciting terrorism, with statements made during a Channel 4 show on climate change. The show was called Is It Time to Break the Law and followed Just Stop Oil protesters in their quest to stop climate change through civil unrest. Hampshire Police say the complaint was made by a New Forest resident. He was concerned Packham's statements posed a danger to families living close to an oil refinery in Hampshire. Police say the show is not the subject of a criminal investigation. The campaign to kill off stoats on Orkney will need another £8 million for it to work. It's taken 6 years to kill just over 5,000 of the animals, which are not native to Orkney. The Orkney Native Wildlife Project now employs 40 staff and almost 100 volunteers, laying humane traps. They say they hope to eradicate the stoats by 2027, but need the extra funding to finish the job. Anglers have been asked to add their voice to a consultation to shape the future of bass fishing. DEFRA's Fisheries Management Plan survey will close next month, but the organisation which represents UK bass anglers is concerned they've ignored vital science. The Bass Anglers Sport Fishing Society say DEFRA's study doesn't consider research on protecting juvenile fish, including minimum landing sizes. It says the goals of the study are too vague and is biased towards commercial bass fishing. There's a link to the relevant documentation and to the survey below. Southern Water is due to appear in court this week to answer a private prosecution over pollution in the River Test. The water company will appear before magistrates in Southampton after the criminal case was brought by the environmental campaign group Fish Legal. The case relates to Southern Water's handling of oil spills on the famous chalk stream from a pipe they operate on an industrial estate. The case comes in a week when the Office for Environmental Protection said the government had failed to comply with laws related to managing sewage overflows. Scotland's public consultation about the use of snares is coming to an end. The Scottish Government has recommended all snares and cable restraints are banned. The Countryside Alliance has asked people to support an amendment to the proposed ban which allows snares to be used in certain controlled situations. South Africa's Conservation Imperative has released a new video showing an incredible leopard rescue. The animal's trapped by poachers using illegal snares. Volunteers from the Fala Borwan Natural Heritage Foundation found the animal trapped in a cage after a baited trap was sprung. The leopard was tranquilised, recovered from the trap and treated for minor injuries before being released. You can watch that film by clicking on the link below. And finally, firefighters from Essex have come to the rescue of a trapped deer. The animal managed to wedge itself headfirst between some railings in Walton on the Naze. They used hydraulic spreaders to force the metal railings apart, and the deer ran off unharmed. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.